Hey, you guys. Okay, it is Monday, and we are still talking about power skills. Today, I want to dive into a skill that is absolutely critical. And I'm using that word critical for a reason. It's absolutely critical, and it used to be taught. However, it isn't really taught any longer. And it's something that we truly need to, will want to, after you hear this, make sure that you are continually enhancing your skills around this. Okay. And what I'm talking about is critical thinking. It used to be something that was actually taught to students, and then it was something that was taught in the work environment. And it hasn't been for a long, long time. Now, when I say critical thinking, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the ability to do analysis, communication around that analysis, being open minded, problem solving, and having creativity. And in today's environment where we are absolutely bombarded constantly with all kinds of information that seems to be completely out of left field sometimes, and is just somewhat shoved down our throats over and over and over. How important might these critical thinking skills actually be? I can tell you they are of utmost importance, because without them, we see people every day doing all sorts of things that it's like, did they even think about this? Are they just accepting what everyone is telling them? I mean, really, what is going on in some of these situations? Because it, it's crazy how I see people making decisions these days. And so we want to make sure that we are really honing in on this critical thinking skill. So who am I? Angela W. Stillwell. I am the CEO of Untapped Strengths, and I work with individuals to transform them into the highest performing leaders, and I work with teams to transform them into powerhouses. And I want to remind everybody really quickly to make sure that if you have not yet signed up, you need to do that. And here's why. Over the weekend, I started thinking about the problem that I was having with getting the bonus information out to those who had signed up. And I thought, what can I do to make it even better? So I've created an online platform. All of the recordings are going to go into that online platform, and the bonuses are going to be in there. The middle of the week, these recordings are coming down. So the replays will be available until probably Wednesday evening. And after that, you'll need to be on the list. So make sure that you get signed up. It's just below my name. It's bit.ly/power skills pop up. Power skills pop up, all capitalized, not all caps, just each word capitalized. So look at that on the screen and make sure that you get signed up so that you will have access to the replays and the bonuses going forward, because I've got some more stuff I'm going to be doing over time for the people who are on the list. Anyway, all right, let's jump back in. So what are traits of a critical thinker? Critical thinkers tend to have a lot of curiosity. I'm like a little kid when it comes to curiosity. I am super curious about pretty much everything. I'll ask all kinds of questions of people, and I'm always noticing all sorts of things. So curiosity is something that will help you with a lot of these power skills that we're talking about, but particularly today in the critical thinking. Compassion. Can we have compassion for others? When you are a critical thinker, you have this compassion to be able to not only see your own perspective, but other perspectives as well. We talked about empathy, we've talked about emotional intelligence, and part of this flows through into critical thinking. Remember, I said that these power skills all work together. So compassion is one of the common traits of people who actually have really good critical thinking skills. The next one is awareness. Okay. So being aware of what is going on. being aware of what's happening, not just within your little world, but what's going on in the world around you. What's going on in the industry that you're in? What's going on with your family? What's going on with the people that you care about? What's going on generally? Having an awareness about all sorts of things. Okay. It doesn't mean that you have to know absolutely everything that's going on, but being aware. Okay. Being aware. Decisiveness. This is something that I am pretty quick to make a decision on things. And sometimes it's got me in trouble because I am so quick to make these decisions. And I'm talking like really big investment decisions. I'm like, "Yep, that sounds good. Let's do it. Let's make it work. Let's figure out how to make it work." And sometimes I've had a ding against me because of making quick decisions, and money loves speed. So when you develop the decision making muscle, and it is a muscle, you become this critical thinking skill. You learn that you can pivot. Any decision that you make is pretty much changeable, right? You can always decide to make a new decision. Decide, when you look at the I guess the Latin word that decide comes from, actually means to kill off. Desir means to kill off. So you're killing off other things and you're going after one. When you don't make decisions, when you're not decisive, your brain, remember we've been talking about the neuroscience and how our brains work, and they work from a survival, not a thriving standpoint. We have to teach them to work from a thriving aspect. But when you haven't made a decision, then your brain is constantly subconsciously working on all of the alternatives out there, right? So decisiveness, super important. Honesty, yeah, we get to be honest. As critical thinkers, we get to be honest with ourselves and with others. And the other day I talked about brutal honesty. I am not talking brutal honesty. Brutal honesty is just rude. It's not something that is necessary. We can be honest without being brutal. Some people love to tout that they are brutally honest, and I just say they're a bully. I mean, you don't have to be brutally honest. Be honest, and sometimes honesty is not comfortable. That's not the same thing as brutally honest, okay? So honesty is important. Willingness. Do you have a willingness to actually look at alternatives, right? Do you have a willingness to make shifts as you come up with more information around those critical skills, right? Creativity. Creativity is huge. Critical skills, critical thinking skills require you to look outside the box, look at other alternatives. We're going to talk in a little bit about brainstorming. And when you are doing brainstorming, you get to be creative. Like nothing's off the table until you get to the decide aspect, right? So, what are the stages? What are the aspects of critical thinking? The first one is to inform and describe. What do you need to know? What do you already know? Where can you find this information? What is it that you're needing to make a decision about? What is it that you're needing to be critically thinking about? What do you already know? What are the resources? What are the other sources? And going after them. Then discover and explore, right? Be purposeful in seeking information. Be purposeful in seeking information without predetermining what the answer is. Okay? Predetermining what the answer is not open-minded. So many people, they look for information to support the opinion that they already have. All you're doing is closing in when you do that. You get to be open-minded when you are purposefully seeking information in the second step of discover and explore. All right, the third step is negotiate and cooperate. Figure out what are different perspectives around whatever the issue is that you are using your critical thinking skills. Okay. What are different perspectives? Engage with other people, like truly openly engage. Be willing to hear other perspectives. Be willing to take on other perspectives. Doesn't mean that you have to agree. You can agree to disagree sometimes, right? Sometimes, though, you will find that other perspectives give you information to help you either change your mind or become clearer as to why the decision you're wanting to make is the right one. Okay. And then test and revise. So test the alternatives. So often we make a decision and then we haven't tested and looked for the alternatives and weighed the outcomes. We just go, yep, this is it, and go for it, right? Now, sometimes it's a quick process and other times it's going to take a little bit longer. But make sure that you are testing the alternatives and weighing the outcomes of each of those alternatives. And then integrate and apply. What is the new understanding? How do you get to integrate this into whatever the situation is, right? Whatever the problem is that you're solving. Okay. And understand something. Each of these steps are super important. We're talking from mostly a professional background or professional space. This critical thinking skill is beneficial in your personal life too. Things that you are making decisions around for you personally, whether it's your health or your spirituality or your wealth, right? Your relationships. You get to use these same steps from a personal standpoint. And then when you're looking at all of this, who has the information that you need? What are the sources? Are you looking at the past to see what did and didn't work? And just because that's the way it's always been done doesn't mean that that's the only way to do it. Okay. People get caught up in, well, that's just how it is. No, that's not just how it is. Or it is what it is. No, it isn't just what it is. We get to make adjustments. We get to be adaptable and resilient. Remember, we talked about adaptability and resiliency. So when you are looking at the sources and when you have all of this information, I want you to brainstorm on what the outcome might be. Brainstorm on possible solutions. Okay. And when you are brainstorming, a coach that I've had in the past, every time there was something that we were working on, maybe it was coming up with a new product line, or maybe it was new income streams, or maybe it was all sorts of different things. She always challenged us to come up with at least 50 alternatives, 50 different solutions. That's a lot, you guys. And sometimes you can come up with more. I'm going to challenge you to come up with at least 20 more, if at all possible, at least 20 different solutions for whatever the thing is that you're applying your critical thinking skills to. Okay. Because in doing, and again, don't throw anything out. Everything can be put on, anything that pops in your mind, write it down. And what are different methods for doing this? You can use mind mapping. There's lots of different softwares that are out there for doing that. You can mind map on a piece of paper if you want. You can use a flip chart. You can use a whiteboard. You can use sticky notes. One of my favorite things to do is to use sticky notes. And I put them on the wall and I mix and match and color code. And I've even... when I have been traveling before, I will take my markers with me and, my whiteboard markers with me. And you can even use permanent markers to do this. You just need to make sure that you have a cleaner to get it off. But hotel rooms have big windows. That's like having your own giant whiteboard. And I have mind mapped and brainstormed all over the windows in a hotel room and in conference rooms before. And when I used to be in an office building, I used to use my windows all the time, and I would just write and mind map and brainstorm all over the windows. So that's a little trick for you. So yes, sticky notes, mind map, flip charts, whiteboards, windows, etc. All great tools for doing this brainstorming step that we're talking about. Now, once you have done your brainstorming, then you get to determine, what's the solution? What's the selection criteria, right? There's a lot of different, yes, mechanical pencil, Sylvia, absolutely. What's the selection criteria, right? Commonly, it's money and time, right? Those are the two biggies, money and time. There's also people, right? There's resources. Do we have resources available to even do this? What do those resources look like? Can we get the resources? Who has the resources? Then is there buy-in? Is there buy-in from people around us? Is there buy-in from people who may be above us? Is there buy-in from people who may be below us? And is there a willingness to actually implement whatever solution we develop? Okay. There has to be that willingness. There has to be the buy-in and there has to be the willingness. Now, it doesn't mean that everybody has to agree 110%. Okay. It just means that there gets to be a willingness and buy-in, right? So think about those when you are coming up with your criteria for deciding on which solution you're going to use. All right. And then I want you to ask, what could go wrong? Plan that now. What could go wrong? And what are your alternatives should something go wrong? Yeah. Plan that now. When I work with my clients on doing planning, one of the things that I always have them do is have them think about, as you are writing out your goals, as you are writing out your vision, what are you saying internally? What is your brain telling you? Because let me tell you something, even in critical thinking, this neuroscience piece that I have been touching on during this whole series is going to play a major role. Any meaning, any stories that you already have made up, any beliefs that you already have impact your critical thinking skills. Yeah. So whatever has happened back here for you is still operating and impacting decisions, actions, and results. Remember, I've said it over and over and over through this. Your subconscious brain impacts and is driving the decisions that you make, the actions that you take, and the results that you get 80 to 90+% of the time. So you get to be super aware and alert. Remember that awareness piece we talked about? You get to be really aware of what is it that I'm saying to myself about this situation? And is it true? Do I want to continue thinking that way? Maybe, maybe not. Okay. So having that awareness of what your brain is doing. And then once you have come up with a solution and you've implemented it and things are going great, then you celebrate. Actually, I want you to celebrate even before they're going great. Once you make a decision and you are implementing, I want you to have a celebration because that is worthy of celebrating. Doesn't mean you go out and have this big blowout, but you do want to have a celebration. And here's why. That part about the neuroscience and the neurochemicals that we've been talking about, your brain loves a celebration. It loves the dopamine that you get when you have a celebration. And so what that does is it trains your brain to say, hey, look at this. I get some dopamine every time I do XYZ. So every time you're making those decisions and implementing, celebrate. because then your brain starts going, "Ooh, when I do this, I get to have fun." And then it starts writing a neural pathway around that from a positive perspective, as opposed to, "Oh my gosh, I have to make a change." That brings up anxiety and frustration and fear, right? So make sure that you are implementing celebrations throughout the process. All right. Again, that's it for today. So quick and sweet on the critical thinking. I will be sharing some bonus material for those that have signed up. Please make sure that you get signed up if you're not already signed up. I want to make sure that you have access to the recordings. They are going to go away Wednesday evening, and they will only be available to those who have signed up to get access. And the link to sign up is on the screen. It's bit.ly/power skills pop up. And you want to capitalize the word power, the word skills, the word pop, and the word up. Only the first letter in each of those words. There's no spaces or anything. You can see it on the screen. It's all together. So https :/bit.ly/power skills pop up. I'm getting tongue tied saying that today. I hope you all have had a great weekend and you got some great information out of this today. If you've missed any of the days, now's the time to go back and watch the replays. We did 2 Q&A sessions over the weekend and got some great information and some great answers on some questions that were coming up. And if you have any questions about critical thinking or any of the others, be sure to put it in the comments on whichever platform you're watching this. And then you could also send it in a DM to me on whichever platform. We are checking all of them. I believe we are on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So whichever platform is your platform, you can send the information to me there, and I will see you back tomorrow. Tomorrow is day 9. It is the last day. So make sure that you are here for our last day of this Power Skills pop-up. It has been so much fun being with you, and I can't wait to do more. And like I said, when you are signed up, there's going to be some additional bonus stuff that you get for signing up. So look for you inside, and I will see you all tomorrow.